See my screen. We were talking about the Caliphate topic, and we have discussed the Caliphate of Hazrat Usman Razila Ta'ala anhu in previous class, and then we started the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razila Ta'ala anhu. Before I move forward, I will briefly show you past paper questions, topics for past paper questions, and then we will move forward to the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razila Ta'ala anhu, so that you may have a better idea. In this document, you can see that election and administration, there can be a 10 marks question. It appeared in 2021. Administration and state policy, that can be a 10 marks question. Administration and policies, expansion, maintenance, this type of word can be in this question. This came twice, 2020 and 2016. Election and compilation of the Quran, that can be a 10 marks question. Great achievement of Hazrat Usman Razila Ta'ala anhu, especially related to compilation of the Quran. Like, was compilation of the Quran Hazrat Usman's great achievement or not? That can be a 4 marks question. It can be seen in past papers. In the same way, justification of burning variant copies of the Quran, it can be a 4 marks question in B part. Further, we can see that greatest achievement of Hazrat Usman Zia Talanu, that can be compilation of the Quran, military expansion, or administration. A general question can be that you need to identify the achievement. So any of this can be, or maybe any other thing you think that is the greatest achievement, that can be a B marks question. Revolt against Usman Zia Talanu, or rebellion, or words can be similar to that. So that can be a 10 marks question. Reasons of revolt, charges against Usman Razila Talanu, rebellion in Medina, events of revolt, that can be a question. You can see that it appeared almost 4 times in past papers. A question can be consequences of Hazrat Usman's assassination. Basically, it looks that it is about the Caliphate of Hazrat Usman Razila Talanu, but in answer, you will write about the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razila Talanu, because after Usman Razila Talanu, Hazrat Ali Razila Talanu became the Khalifa, and consequences that can be seen in the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razila Talanu. Most serious consequence, that can be a question. Lessons from the martyrdom of Hazrat Usman Razila Taranu. What we learn from the way Hazrat Usman Razila Taranu was martyred, that can be a question. Major events of Hazrat Usman's caliphate and difficulties he faced, that can be a question. Reasons for difficulties in last year's, a 4 marks question can be. Causes of assassination can be a 4 marks question. So we can see that these topics, election, administration, compilation of the Quran, and a few more topics, they can be the most important topics. So I will share this document with you. Another important thing which I wanted to mention, that it is better that you should make your own notes if it is possible. If you cannot make your own notes, then at least if you have notes, you should highlight the things and try to write down the points, note down the points, or wherever there's something elaborated, you can write down over there with your own handwriting. So that will be easy to remember and recall. So making notes, that is important. Another important thing is that, as you know, that there are a few days, maybe a month and few days they are left. So try to make a regular plan, regular study plan. This can be this way also, that whatever we are studying in the class, after that there's a off day. So you can revise all the topics, you can prepare the topics, you can see past papers. So in that way, need to be very active now, and need to follow a regular timetable. I have discussed past paper options from the Caliphate of Hazrat Usman Razil Talanu. Before I move forward, in previous class we discussed about the election of Hazrat Ali Razil Talanu and his first decision that he changed the governors. Uh, I will go to that, inshallah. We'll continue that again. But before that, I wanted to discuss a 4 marks question, because I have seen that many students, they do not write good 4 marks answers, and they lose their marks. And secondly, 4 marks question can be very important for getting good grades, because in that you need to just think, analyze the points, need not to remember references, you need not to remember most of the points. So only you need to think in your own way and give reasons, and then you can get good marks very easily. So you can see a question over here. last time somebody asked me a question related to that as well. Can Muslims today learn lessons from the martyrdom of Hazrat Usman Razi Ta'ala anhu? Give reasons for your answer. Similar question can be for Hazrat Umar Razi Ta'ala anhu, for Hazrat Ali Razi Ta'ala anhu, because three of the rightly guided caliphs they were martyred. Or even there's a question in past papers, 10 marks question. It says that three of the four rightly guided caliphs they were martyred. So what do you learn from that, or what lessons we learn from that? Or how you can relate that to leadership or administrative qualities or not to compromising or something wrong. So I think everything is fine. We have, I think everybody can listen me properly. Okay, let's continue. You can see a question over here, 4 marks question. In 4 marks question, it is important that you should identify reasons and then you need to develop reasons and then evaluate and analyze those reasons. There can be two reasons as well if you have properly developed them, evaluated them, analyzed them. So even two reasons are fine if your answer is well developed for 4 marks, but uh, it is better you give three reasons at least. Over here, you will see in this document that I have elaborated the points, but you can summarize them. But you need to highlight the reasons, develop them properly, and most importantly, evaluate and analyze them. So lessons, what we learn from the way Hazrat Usman Razila Talan was martyred. So you can start with an introduction that we can learn many important lessons from the martyrdom of Usman Razila Talanu during the crisis. So you can relate that that was a time when Muslim government that was in crisis. So in today's time, how this a lesson for that for today's leaders when they are in crisis, you can relate to justice, patience, peaceful dialogue, respect of sacred places, and concern of unity. That I will explain further how you can relate that. First is suppose you can mention firstly, standing firm for justice and principles that can be the first lesson we can learn from the way Hazrat Usman Zitano was martyred. So you can mention that during the rebellion, Hazrat Usman Zitano refused to resign from the caliphate because he believed he had been appointed legitimately by the Muslim community, and even Majlis Shura and all the Muslims in Medina, even rebels also they accepted that he is a legitimate ruler, and the other things, propaganda, that was just a propaganda. All the allegations they were the part of propaganda. Only one thing that was accepted by Usman Razila Talanu was their demand to choose the governor of Egypt, Abdullah bin Saad ibn Abi Sarah, and instead of him, Muhammad bin Abu Bakr was made the governor. So we can mention that he believed stepping down under pressure from rebellions would set a dangerous example where leaders could be forced out through violence. Even there was a hadith in which it was mentioned, he recalled that Prophet mentioned that some people they would like to remove you from the post of the Khalifa, but that would be a difficult time for you, that would be a test for you. And this is a position which was given to him by Almighty Allah, Allah's blessings. So without reason or without any justification, he denied or he rejected to step down. So it shows his firmness or the way he remained firm for justice because it was unjustified that he should be removed. Only the way I mentioned in the previous class that could be by the court or by the Majlis Shura. So this shows that leader must remain committed to justice and lawful authority even during crisis. If leaders surrender their responsibilities to unlawful pressure, it weakens the stability of the state and encourage rebellions. So in that way, you can relate that today's leaders they can get lessons. Leader can be the political leader, can be the leaders in any multinational company. Leader can be even in the classroom, even in school, even the head boy, head girl, or maybe the class prefect. Today's Muslims learn from this example by standing firmly for what is right and what is lawful, when even facing criticism or pressure from others. So that is the first lesson that as a leader, we will receive criticism, pressure, but it is our task that we need not to surrender to any unlawful or unjustified pressure. Second reason you can mention that, second lesson, choosing dialogue instead of using force. Hazrat Usman Razila Talanu, he could use force very easily. Even people of Medina, those who were there, Hazrat Ali Razila Talanu and Talha Zubair Razila Talanu and many others, they were asking his permission to fight back with the rebels. But he did not prefer that way. He preferred dialogue and consultation rather than violence. So it shows democratic way. Even in the crisis, he preferred democratic solution or dialogue. Usman had the ability to use force to suppress the rebels because many companions that I mentioned. Instead, he attempted to resolve the crisis through communication and negotiation. Even I mentioned that a few months before that, Hazrat Mawiyah Razila Ta'ala, anhu, he offered that I would send Syrian soldiers, Syrian army, and even they surrounded the house for 40 days. He could call army from Syria. That would take only 2 weeks, but he didn't go for that solution. So it shows that he preferred dialogue, democratic way. Leadership values peaceful solutions over violence. Using force might have protected his position, but it would cause greater bloodshed and division within the Muslim community. So he wanted to avoid civil war, or he sacrificed his own benefit, or you may say that he looked for the general well-being or well-being of the public, or to support the principles. He did not compromise on any principles. Today's Muslims can learn to resolve disagreement through dialogue, consultation, and peaceful discussion rather than conflict and hostility. This you can relate. The third lesson, sanctity of Medina. On many times he mentioned that he would not go for any fight in Medina, any war, any civil war in Medina, because he loved the city of Prophet too much. And even in Ahadith it is mentioned, Prophet said, it is haram. Like Makkah is haram made by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he said, I'm making this city haram. So respect of haram that you can relate. And today's time, we can relate that to sacred places, religious values, and we shouldn't promote any violence, most importantly, in worship places that you can relate. I'm moving a little faster because we have less time. I have to cover many things, so I hope you are understanding. If you don't understand, at the end, I will give you time. You can further ask for more clarity. Okay, and a few more points. Fourth point is over here, civil war like that. So in situation like that, how we can solve the problems through dialogue, through negotiations, so that we can learn. Now let's move forward towards the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razi Ta'ala anhu. Same like this, I would like to first mention past paper topics which can be important. You can see over here in this document. Martyrdom of Hazrat Usman and election of Hazrat Ali Razil Ta'ala anhu. This is a 10 marks question in past paper. In that you can mention details about revolt and martyrdom of Usman Razil Ta'ala anhu, and details about election of Hazrat Ali Razil Ta'ala anhu. Reasons for Hazrat Ali face strong opposition after becoming Khalifa. That is a 4 marks question. You can discuss the reasons. So, inshallah, we discuss in detail. Changing the governor. Ali Rizal policy of changing the governors. Reason for removing the governors. Uh, how much effective that policy, and situation which developed from that. So briefly, you can mention the Battle of Camel and Battle of Siffin. So you will find a question in past papers, or that can be in coming exam as well. Write about the policy of Hazrat Ali Razil Ta'ala anhu, most importantly, changing the governors, and effects of this policy of changing the governors. That can be a 10 marks question. So that's why, lastly, I discuss in detail about the governors, all 4 governors, who was previous governor, who was a new governor, and how things developed. Hazrat Ali Razil Ta'ala was a strong caliph. Agree or disagree, that can be a 4 marks question. So you need to be careful during the lecture. We will discuss the points, so you can evaluate these points, and you can realize whether this point is supporting that Hazrat Ali was a strong caliph, or maybe not a strong caliph. So you, if you would think in that way during the lesson, you will find many points which will show that where he was strong. Problems can be a question, major political and internal problems. A question can be about problems, write about the problems faced by Hazrat Ali Razil Ta'ala anhu. That can be a 10 marks question. Political internal problems, opposition from Hazrat Talha Zubair and Hazrat Aisha Rizal Talana, Hazrat Muawiyah Rizal Talanu, conflict with him, Khawarij, all these can be the problems you can discuss in detail in Battle of Naharwan also. Most significant problem that can be a question to evaluate the problems and identify which one was the most significant. Battles, there are three battles, Battle of Camel, Battle of Siffin, and Battle of Naharwan. So you can see a question over here about the Battle of Camel, cause of the battle, main events, and other things that can be a 10 marks question. Most serious consequences of the battle, this battle for the Muslims, that can be a 4 marks question. Battle of Siffin can also have a 4 marks, 10 marks question. Battle of Naharwan, some students might be confused with that. Okay, Battle of Naharwan and Battle of Nehawand both have similar names. So the battle which was in the time of Hazrat Ali Razal Taala, that was Battle of Naharwan, not Battle of Nahawand. Battle of Nahawand was in the Caliphate of Hazrat Umar Razil Taala in 642 CE, and that was the last battle against the Sassanid Empire or the Panjshir Empire, and that also has a 10 marks question. A question can be opposition and Battle of Camel. Okay, and further, let's see opposition of Hazrat Talha and Zubair and events resulting from that. That can be a 10 marks question. So main focus can be on the opposition circumstances leading to the Battle of Camel. Or even a question can be write an account of the events which led up to the Battle of Camel. Though it is not in the past paper, but Cambridge, they give questions like that as well. Mostly you have seen in the Life of Prophet Sassam. They may ask you a question, write an account of the events which led up to the Battle of Camel. So it means events before the Battle of Camel, not actually the Battle of Camel. So that can be a question. So in that also you can mention the circumstances after his election. Then Hazrat Talha, Zubair, and governors, all that can be the part of that. Battle of Siffin can have a 10 marks question. Further, Hazrat Muawiyah's opposition and resulting from that, how scenarios and circumstances develop after that, that can be a 10 marks question. So you may mention the reasons of Hazrat Muawiyah's opposition and events of the Battle of Siffin. So see how questions can be complicated, and you need to find out what is actually the question is, and then you need to write your answer according to the demand of the question. So all these are the past paper questions. So you can see the marking schemes and you can find over there what is the actual demand of the question. I'm writing just over here keywords which can show you if there's a question that what should be added over here. Four marker can be why Hazrat Muawiyah refused to step down as a governor of Syria and why he refused to accept Hazrat Ali's caliphate. Both are similar. So that can be a B part. Battle of Siffin and arbitration that can be mentioned in the question. So then you'll discuss in detail how arbitration took place beside the Battle of Siffin and what were the results of this arbitration or hakam. Arbitration and emergence of Khawarij, that can also be a question. So in that you will mention even the Battle of Naharwan against the Khawarij, all that. Were the Khawarij responsible for Hazrat Ali not winning the battle? Battle of Siffin, that can be a 4 marks question. Major events, that can be a 10 marks question. And in that way, you can see that many options are here for a 10 marks question. So I hope all that will be very clear. Now let's move forward to the topic Caliphate of Hazrat Ali Razil Taranu. Today we'll start from the change of governor, but let me briefly recall and we'll try to complete this topic and then we'll try to move towards the next topic, the history and importance of Hadith as well. I have discussed in detail about the election of Hazrat Ali Razil Talanu in previous class. Then we discussed about some of the Sahaba. They did not take oath of allegiance, but they did not oppose Hazrat Ali Razil Taranu. So in the beginning, nobody opposed Hazrat Ali Razil Taranu. Then we discussed about the first address of Hazrat Ali Razil Taranu and then change of the governor. I discussed in detail that who were the new governors and who were the previous governors of Hazrat Usman Razil Taranu, those who were replaced. I will just briefly recall.